Hey y'all, it's Nancy the Handy Scandy here for this Calls for Confetti. Thanks for joining me today. I am back with a couple more of my gel plate prints, and we're going to make them into some Christmas cards. Now these are the products that I started out with. I end up not using all of them, but we'll talk about that as we go. And these are the 3 gel plate prints that I'm going to be making into Christmas cards. So I often say the background is just that, it's the background. So we don't need to sweat about any inconsistencies or any irregularities or flubs or blubs or whatever you want to call it. So those blobs of color, remember that was from the gel plate prints that I did. And so some of the alcohol ink got up under the stencil at the time that I made the print. But to me that adds character, that adds color, that adds all kinds of things that are not errors in my mind. So I just think it's part of the character of the beautiful prints that we have. So I am working on finding card bases that coordinate really well with these. And I am working on finding layering colors of cardstock that match as well, or at least coordinate. So for the 2 lighter kind of beigey ones, I end up using craft cardstock as the base because they just have a craft tone to them, but they also have a greeny tone. So that's where that kind of olivey cardstock comes from. Now the one that has the excuse me, the kind of berry tones to it, I am using that berry colored paper. I don't know where it came from. I'm thinking, no, I don't even want to say because I'm not sure. But I do use a cream colored base for that one. And here I'm just checking to make sure that that extra layer of stenciling is dry. And I don't know if you caught that on screen or not, but I added some, what are these called? Pops of color. I added some pops of color through that same stencil, and that stencil is the Sparkles stencil. That's the same stencil that I created the prints with, and I wanted to just add another layer of that exact same pattern, but I wanted it to be sparkly and raised. And this particular color of Pops of Glitter is called Glitter Snowflake. It's very pretty. It's very subtle, right? If the light's not hitting it just right, you don't even know it's there. And especially if you're not touching it, you don't know it's there. I did not add that to what will become the green cards. I only added it to the purple one, and I just wanted that extra oomph on just one card. So you saw me do some ink blending. I pulled out some archival inks because I wasn't sure if I was going to be adding any splatters or doing any kind of like water relief or whatever I was going to do to it. But I did all of my stamping and ink blending in the archival inks. I just didn't want them to move once I got them in place. So the colors that I have are Peeled Paint is the green archival ink, and Potted Soil, I think, was the name of the kind of brownie color. So I did that same stamping all around all 3 bases, and I used the Express Delivery stamp set, and I used a variety of different stamps. You saw me using the Special Delivery one, the Express Delivery for North Pole, the registration marks, all of those. And if you'll notice, I only kind of went around the edges. Very, very little got stamped in the middle or towards the middle, because I knew that I was going to do this part right in the center, and I didn't want to cover anything up. I wanted those special marks to be on the edges. And I just think this whole postal theme is so cute. It's very popular right now. I just can't get enough of it. One way to kind of alter what you're stamping down would be to not use an archival ink, not use any kind of permanent ink, but use something that's water reactive. And when you stamp it, then you spray just a little bit of water on it, or I'm sorry, you ink up the stamp, spray a little bit of water on it, and then stamp it, and it gives a very loosey-goosey watercolor look. And I just think it's so cool when that happens. But like I said, in this case, I didn't want anything to move, so that's why I stamped in archival. But there's lots of fun techniques you can do with water reactive inks, so just keep that in mind. as you're playing and learning and watching and all those things, that there's many other ways that you can use these stamps. So all right, guys, so I was going back and forth in terms of what I wanted behind my little frames, right? I know that that's where I want my focal point to be, but did I just want the gel plate print to be behind there? Or did I want the same color as the frame, the same color cardstock as the frame, or something different? And I landed on something different, because I tried it with the green, and I didn't hate the green. I also didn't hate when you could just see the gel plate print. However, this is my reasoning. Using a different colored cardstock behind the frame allows each of them to be prominent. Right, we want the frame to stand out because it's what draws your eye into the center, but we also want the center to stand out because that is the focal point. And using the craft instead of the green also brings in one more time the colors of that gel plate print, right? Because like I said, the print itself has kind of a beigey and a greeny tone, if that makes any sense at all. But that's why, if you look, we've got the light cream of the cardstock itself, and then the inks have those different tones. It has the tone of beige, has the tone of kind of a greeny brown, and so that's why all of these colors make sense. And the more that you can incorporate those colors into your project, it just ties it all together that much more. So here I'm coming in with some more of the ink blending around the edges. I just didn't feel like it was quite enough. So I went in with the green, and then I also went in with the brown. And again, the green is peeled paint and the brown is potting soil. And it's just very subtle. Even though I made it darker, it's still very subtle. And here I'm going to go around the edges of this one as well. I had already done the potting soil, so I just came in with the peeled paint just to give that extra layer of color, and also to continue to draw your eye in, because when you do that distressed ink blending around the edges, it makes the center kind of glow regardless of what color your cardstock is. It just makes the center prominent. Let's watch again as I place this focal point panel, and we'll see what I'm talking about. You can see how that bright cream colored card base just stands out from around the center panel, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. There are lots of different techniques and tricks and things that we can do to make our eye, the viewer's eye, go where we want it to go. That is just one of them, and I think it's very effective. Not everybody who uses the ink blending around the edges has that intent when they're doing the ink blending, but nonetheless, it really is effective. Y'all tell me what you think. Do you feel like what I'm saying is accurate? Do you use the ink blending technique? And if so, do you use it with the intent of trying to draw your eye or the viewer's eye to wherever you want it to go, whether it's the center or wherever it might be? I don't know. Just let me know your thoughts. Drop them downstairs in the comment section and let's talk about it. I know for me, it's very effective and I love it, and it's something that I've done for years and will likely continue to do. And sometimes it is for the purpose of directing the eye, but other times it's just because I like it. I love some grunge, I love some funk, I love some distressing. So, yeah. Anyway, there we have it. Now I'm working on that third card panel, or the focal point for the third card panel. And you can see that I chose a cream colored cardstock for this one. And that's again because I'm trying to pull those colors together, trying to coordinate the colors on this particular card base. Now, if you'll remember, this is the one that I did the stenciling with the pops of color. So there's some glitter down there, there's some texture. So on this one, I used a little bit more glue and I held it in place longer. I wanted to make sure that that glue took hold to all of those different textures before I let it go. But on this one I also added the trim, and I also added the buttons. I went through my stash and I found buttons that I felt like coordinated really well with both cards. The first one, as you saw and as we'll look again, is much more simple. It doesn't have all the adornments. So on this one I am adding a mixture of adornments, if you will. They're not all confetti, but it's from the Bejeweled mix from TCFC. and they are like half pearls of various sizes. There's sparkle gems in there. They're just beautiful, and the sparkle gems come in different sizes as well. So now on this one, I'm using the amber sparkle gems on both of the green and cream colored cards. And the amber sparkle gems have a green cast when the light hits it just right. On some of the facets, it's kind of green, and it's kind of a goldy beige. And then there's also like a browny coppery gold look. If you don't have these mixes, guys, hop over and check them out. Just go see. Look till your heart's content. If you decide to purchase, then you decide to purchase. Obviously, there's never any pressure to do that, but I just don't want you to miss out. If these are calling your name, go take a look. That's all. But here we go. This is the simplest of the 3 cards. And even being simple, it's not incredibly simple. Now, this one I added more of the sparkle gems, the trim, and the button. This one has there's sparkle gems and beads, as well as the trim and the button. And then it also has the textured stenciling on the background, the gel plate print texture and visuals, and all of that beautiful stamping. And now look, you can see the center of all 3 of those card panels. Because it's just the colored cardstock, it's beautiful. It's clean. It's simple. It stands out from the beautiful busyness of the background, but it stands out. It has the prominence that I was looking for on all 3 of these cards, despite what level of adornment each card has or doesn't have. That center focal point panel really stands out, and I'm loving it. I'm loving these products from this Calls for Confetti. As I mentioned in the beginning, I had lots of products that I was going to use. As I go along and I audition my pieces, I figure out what's actually going to work in this production and what's not. So you saw what I used. I will have everything linked downstairs. Make sure that you join us for other videos here on the YouTube channel. Join us on all of our socials and our Facebook group. And until next time, guys, this has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy, for this Calls for Confetti. Mwah. And I'm out.